This week on Not Another Shooting Show.
3 hours I spent on this, and it was less than 4 feet away from me.
I've never lost to Steven at that match.
If our sport ever became popular,
I get a Band-Aid and a tampon for you.
I'm feeling better for 6 hours. My stomach's like, haha, get fucked.
He's Jeff King. I'm Andy Erickson. This is Not Another Shooting Show. We go down south to Mobile, Alabama, where a woman faces a charge of first-degree attempted assault after she allegedly pulled a gun during an argument with a man on Friday, but wound up shooting herself in the process. Letitia Miranda, she's 35, lives in Mobile, was booked into the jail Saturday, released on a $10,000 bond. Officers were called to a local hospital early Friday afternoon on a report of a woman who had been shot. Miranda had been arguing with a known man, that's funny, a known man in the 5800 block of US 90. During the argument, she allegedly grabbed her gun. When a brief struggle ensued, she accidentally shot herself. So even in real life, when there's a struggle over a gun, someone gets shot. Authorities say her injury was minor. She's got a court date scheduled for this Friday. Or it was for this past Friday, my bad. So, there you go. Don't get into a struggle with a gun, and things will go better. I had this story sent to me about an hour ago by Vince. Drink! Headline, lawyer dies after shot by his own gun, his own concealed gun, triggered by MRI scanner.
That's a sentence.
Uh-huh. So the first line of the story from Forbes.com, don't bring a gun into a room with an MRI machine. Just don't. Remember a while back we had the story of, I think it was a cop in L.A. went running into an MRI room with a AR. And had it yanked out of his hand into the fucking machine.
Yep.
Well,
almost like giant magnets attract metal.
Weird. I know. I mean, most of an AR is aluminum, but there's plenty of steel in it too. So a 40-year-old lawyer in Brazil this happened about a year ago in January of this year. He allegedly brought a gun concealed on his, it was not allegedly, like it shot him and he died. A concealed pistol on his waist into the room where his mother was gonna undergo an MRI. The field generated by the MRI machine then caused the gun to discharge into his right abdomen. So I'm guessing he was shoulder holster.
Oh, hell yeah.
You know, I mean, points for that.
Yeah.
Well, no, it said it was concealed on his waist. I suppose it still could have been low abdomen, but anyway. Major injuries, rushed to a hospital, and he ended up dying a couple weeks later. So, and the dude was a lawyer. Like, he wasn't a stupid person.
I mean, I've met some dumb lawyers.
Well, that's true, I guess. But, yeah. Guns and MRI machines and lawyers just don't mix. So would a pot metal, that's not magnetic, is it? Or is it?
I'm not the guy.
Would a high point get yanked into an MRI machine?
I would think so.
I mean, they all have the problem is they all have a steel barrel. We haven't developed a different material for the barrel yet, so I guess. But
it is surrounded, because if I remember right, the slides are made of zinc, and it's not magnetic, so maybe there's enough of it around it that. But you're right, the power of an MRI will pull the barrel regardless.
Yeah. Okay. Have to mention this. This show's coming out on New Year's Day. Happy New Year. Happy 2025. Off season over, or preseason starts for me tomorrow. But the Great Plains section match goes on sale today. Registration opens 10 a.m. on January 1st. PracticeScore.com. Search Great Plains. You'll find it. Registration opens. It's going to be another great one. It's being run by my buddy Josh. I'm helping him out with it, but he's done a great job with a lot of the legwork so far. PracticeScore.com. Search Great Plains. Great Plains section match is in Canton, South Dakota, May, was it 17th and 18th, I think?
Sounds right.
It's the weekend before Memorial Day weekend. So that's when it is. There, I can click on it. Yes, the 17th and 18th. That's when the match is. So there you go. Also, patreon.com/not another shooting show. Just $3.57 a month. You get 2 episodes every single week. 2 of them. And it's $3.57 a month, not per show, per month. Patreon.com/not another shooting show. Thank you, everybody, on our Reddit. Reddit.com/r/NASS. We don't even really have to prime the pump in there much anymore. People just post stuff. Thank you so much. And poor Heidi. Poor Heidi's on a work trip. Heidi's from Omaha, shoots at Jeff's club, and she's a pilot. And the TSA, as she said on the Reddit post, TSA hates fun and off-season is stupid. So she's doing designated target dry fire practice with the remote control, and looks like a bag from a meal, some round object that's on the shelf, and a water bottle. But hey, training,
gotta do.
off-season training must happen. All right. This is not necessarily shooting related, but it's show related. Both Jeff and I lost our wallets recently.
Yeah.
And Jeff mentioned this right before we recorded. I'm like, oh, dude, we have to talk about this because I got a good story too. But you go first.
Okay, so I haven't left my apartment in like 2 days because I haven't been feeling like 100%, and so I've been trying to rest. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go down to the vending machine. I'm gonna get myself a snack. I started looking for my wallet, and I couldn't find it. And I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, okay, don't get frustrated because I get easily frustrated.
Yeah.
And I looked around. I'm like, I can't find it. Finally, I'm like, don't tell me I washed it. So I start going through my dryer, and I'm finding money. And I'm like, what? I must have washed it. And then I was like, you don't carry cash. What the hell? And so I don't remember where that money came from, if I'm completely honest. But like, I tore apart my apartment. I went down and checked my truck. I even went back to my gym because I was like, okay, the last place you remember having it was at your gym. So I drove all the way to the gym, couldn't find it, drove all the way back, and I'm starting to get real frustrated. I've torn my house apart. I have dug into piles of crap that haven't moved in 2 years. Like, I cannot find this. Finally, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to start patting down every pair of pants I have, every pair of shorts, whatever. First pair of sweatpants I pick up off the floor, right in my pocket. I was like, 3 hours I spent on this, and it was less than 4 feet away from me at any given time.
I think I can top you though.
Excellent.
So, let's see. This would have been on day after Christmas, Thursday last week. So I'm at work. I'm the on-call guy last week, which means I'm the guy who has to go out and check the roads, to see if they're icy or whatever. I work for the DOT, and so I go out, and the first day it was, fine. So I just went out, checked stuff out, and okay. Now I'm back at the shop, and I needed to unload. One of our trucks was broken, and I needed to unload salt from it, because it was, it had been broken, and then because it was loaded up with salt, and no one thought to unload it before it went to the shop, so it sat with this entire load of salt, like 10 tons of salt in the back of it, whatever it was, and sits up there, gets rained on, gets snowed on, and it gets hard, and it won't come out. And so I have to get this salt out somehow. So I have to use a shovel. So I'm shoveling. I probably shoveled 6 tons of salt out of the back of this fucking truck. And then when all the rest of the guys got there at 7:30, I go in and I don't have my wallet. I'm like, oh shit, where's my wallet? Oh fuck, oh fuck. Oh shit, oh fuck, oh shit, oh fuck, oh shit, oh fuck. And so I text my wife. I'm like, hey, is my wallet on the dresser? Or actually, I called her, and she sounded like I just woke her up. I'm like, oh, she must not work today. Turns out she forgot to set her alarm, so I saved her from being late to work. While it's not on the dresser, fuck. So I go back out to the Salt Dome, and I'm walking around. I'm looking underneath the truck. It's still kind of dark. Got my flashlight, poking around. Not there. I'm knocking down the piles, like the small unload piles from the truck, and it's not in there. I'm like, shit. I hop in a truck and go look at the 2 spots I got out to inspect bridges for ice that morning. Not at either of those locations. Get back there. I text my wife again. I'm like, will you just look around the house again and see if it's laying somewhere just real quick? Because I don't want to tear apart all of this salt looking for a wallet if it's in the house. And so I'm literally walking back out to the Salt Dome to start searching again. And I get a text. She found it in the pants I was wearing the day before.
Nice.
I knew I put it on the dresser, but I was wrong. I did not put it on the dresser. And this, kids, I'm going to tie it back to a gun thing, is why we always treat guns like they're always loaded. Because even though you know your wallet was on the dresser, sometimes it's not on the dresser.
Yeah. It's when you get out of your normal habit. When the normal steps of your habit have gone out of sync, that's when shit goes wrong.
Yes. And this wasn't a gun, but I managed to sort of bring it back to that. Okay. You mentioned things washed. Remember the Axel earbuds that I got?
Yes.
I washed them.
Nice.
They don't work anymore.
Oh.
I ordered another pair, and at checkout, there's an option to buy $30 insurance. You know, it's basically the Vortex warranty. Whatever you do, we'll cover it. Anything but loss.
Nice.
But it was $30. I'm like, not for $30. And so then I hit next, and then they said, how about 20? And I said, sold.
I mean, I probably shouldn't say this like on a recorded podcast, but you know, don't throw away your old ones just yet.
Oh. I have a feeling there's a serial number tied to them somewhere. I have a feeling. That's the difference between you and me.
You're a good person.
I'm a good person. I'm the one who would tell you no.
I'm the one who's too lazy to do it.
But here's the thing. I'm almost, and I think the little insurance thing is like 2 years. I'm almost guaranteed to wash them again in the next 2 years.
Right.
Like, they don't realize I'm kind of a bad investment on that, but because every pair of earbuds I've ever owned, I wash. I will never buy expensive. These are the only expensive earbuds I've ever purchased. And I ended up using them a lot at work, way more than I thought I would. And they're really, really handy at work. So they were in a pocket of my work pants, and I forgot to pull them out, and I went through the washer, and they're fucked. So, yeah. Anyway, I taught a couple of lessons on Saturday. Hadn't taught a lesson in quite a while. Things are spurty right now. Like, people will email and call all of a sudden, and then they don't. And I really enjoy doing the one-on-one lessons with people. It's super duper fun. I forgot how much I hate doing it indoors, though.
Ooh, yeah.
Especially at a busy indoor range on a Saturday. That kind of sucks.
Ooh.
It was very, very busy. Now, the trade-off is I drive 5 minutes from my house to get there instead of 30 minutes to the one that would be about the same money for the student, but it's a 30-minute drive versus 5. I like 5. So
I'd still make the 30.
All summer long I go to the outdoor range, but yeah. So I remembered how much I dislike that, although I do enjoy the convenience. Another thing I sort of remembered that I had sort of forgotten, having not taught a lesson in a little while, was that everybody is so different that it's really easy to get into the rut of saying the same thing to every single person as if it's the gospel, and it's not.
Correct.
Especially when it comes to things like grip and where to put your fingers and hands and things. because their gun's different, their hands are different. Now, the first gal I taught, she took an intro class from me like 5 years ago, and guess what gun she bought after my class? And it's a gun
shield?
you know I own.
Smith & Wesson Shield.
No, it was a Glock 34.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I even
that's a large pistol for basically anyone who isn't me.
well, it's the same size as a 17. It's just a longer barrel and slide.
Yeah, but I guess my immediate assumption was she bought it for concealed carry.
No. She just bought a
gotcha.
gun to have a gun, and
Gotcha.
like home defense, but not to carry. And the trying to explain, like, a thing I'll usually end up saying to people is, reach in to the trigger like as far as your finger will just comfortably go and press from there. Don't try to do the fingertip thingy. And she had pretty decent sized hands, so like small hands were not an issue for her at all. But when she did that, I just assumed she was doing it correctly because I told her that. And it turns out she wasn't, but she was just doing what I told her to.
Yep.
She was doing what I told her to. She reached in as far as her finger would go, and I usually end up a right-handed shooter. I'll be to their left so that I can see their grip, because that's kind of the more important side to see it from most of the time.
Yep.
And what I didn't see that she was doing was, yes, she was doing that, but she was also curling her finger to do it. Like, she would reach in far and then curl her finger so the tip was on the trigger.
Yep.
And it was doing weird things. And I'm like, oh, okay, you need to remember, look both sides. Do your due diligence. Don't assume things are happening. I did the same thing with the guy. I was assuming he was, like, I'd already covered, like, I already told you how to do that, so obviously you've mastered it. No. When I tell people how to hold the gun, basically centered in their hand so that it, if their wrist's not bent one way or the other, it's the back of the slide is basically pointed straight up their forearm or parallel to their forearm. Yep. That was a thing I think it was not Lane Grease, but Mason Lane. I heard him say one time, either like up your forearm or parallel to your forearm as a starting point, and then figure it out from there. Well, this guy was shooting a 43X, and I just assumed he was still holding it correctly. No, he had the gun cocked out. And when a gun is turned, if you're a righty, if the gun is turned too far in your firing hand to the right, you will pull all your shots to the right. Like, it's, if you don't believe me, try it at the range sometime. Just turn the gun out to the right in your firing hand once and start pulling the trigger, and bullets are going to go right. And couldn't figure it out. I'm like, wait a minute. Oh, shit. Okay, fix this. Boom. Everything's going down the middle. He's still pulling him down a little bit or doing the low left thing, but nothing was going right anymore. That didn't happen. Just those little things, like, I just got a little out of practice, with what I do, from not having done it as often or frequently.
And it's tough. I run into a similar thing in kickboxing because I literally am getting people who've done it for years, and I'm getting people who've never done it before. And I had a woman, I teach her how to, there's a certain way you knee in Muay Thai. And I've apparently demonstrated it well enough that most people kind of pick up what I'm throwing down. Well, this chick did not.
Yeah.
And her foot was actually catching on the pad that we were using. And I'm like, you're the first person I've had do that. And I don't know why. Like, the hamsters in my brain could not figure out what was going on. It took me till the next class talking to a more advanced student and watching them be like, yeah, that's weird. Because like when you knee, and I watched their foot pull back, and I'm like, oh, she was leaving her leg like straight out and not. And I was like, oh, I completely forgot that part of it because I haven't had to think about that in 12 years.
Yeah. You had a term for that. Something about expert
bias. So it's experts forget what newbies
don't know.
Newbies know. Yeah. And so like for even like basic terminology, because in USPSA, if you're like, hey, you got to build your index. Anyone anyone who's involved in guns to, let's say, like a level 2 or 3 knows what an index is. Like but like a newbie straight out the gate is like, so is that like a card or like
Is
what?
that where all the words are in the back of the book?
Right. And so yeah, going back to the very fundamental basics of like, it's difficult to remind yourself of like, okay, where do I put my finger on the trigger? Because I don't think about it anymore. And
Yeah.
like, where does my support hand actually like land? And you're like, oh yeah, it does. Because here's another interesting one is explain it to a student and then do it yourself. Because there's a lot of, I see this a lot in kickboxing. A lot of coaches teach like, oh, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this. And then I watch them fight and they don't do that.
They don't. Yeah.
A really good example is keeping your chin down. Like my coach taught us like your chin needs to be tucked at all times. And it's actually kind of uncomfortable the way he taught us. And then I watch like a lot of professional fighters, in the UFC and Glory and 1FC, and they keep their chins way up and until it's like time to do work. And you're like, oh. And so when I watch these dudes do the tennis ball drill where they have the tennis ball under their chin and they're walking around and doing boxing and shit with it, I'm like, you're not doing that. You never do that. That's not how you fight.
Yeah.
So.
Interesting. Okay. I have another thing I'm going to get to later, but I want to skip ahead to you talking about gunfights scored in Hit Factor and cops are too dumb for Hit Factor.
maybe in hyperbolic, that's never happened once.
Yeah.
So gunfights scored as Hit Factor was actually a question or topic on our Reddit from Impexmo.
Yeah, that's Mo.
Exmo. That's what it was labeled. And he goes, your success or failure in a gunfight is most clearly related to Hit Factor scoring. Heard this on a podcast today. Do you agree? If not, what scoring system is closer to reality? And there was a couple comments, but I personally think that Hit Factor is the best demonstration of a gunfight because it is the amount of hits you can get in the places you mean them to be in the shortest amount of time. Like that seems so simple to me. Most shots, less time. Ta-da. And this actually be the reason for the next part of it is one Caleb Giddings posted about how Hit Factor is not good for police quals. And of course he's doing it to stir up whatever. But one of the most interesting like arguments made was that cops are too dumb to understand Hit Factor. This was reiterated by Caleb, other people that I don't know, and BJ Norris, who is a grandmaster level shooter. Does he compete anymore? I don't even know.
I don't know.
Anyways, and it was remarkable to me because Hit Factor in itself is a very basic equation. Points scored per second. Don't put USPSA match point stuff on it. Hit Factor is for one stage, and it is it is how many points did you get divided by your time. Done. End of equation. But these guys sat and argued with me for a little while, and I mean I'm kind of a dick. And one of the things that I found extra dumb about it was their response was, well, time plus is easier to understand. And I just don't understand how.
Well, and when they say time plus, they're talking about like IDPA time plus.
Correct. Sorry. Yeah.
Like not just hang two on paper.
Yeah. So I like if you can explain scoring zones, I don't understand how time plus gives you better.
Yeah, as far as the whole, I mean, this is literally just like a clickbait argument meant to rile up people who actually shoot. So, as far as is Hit Factor like real gunfights, I guess it is as long as you actually hit vital stuff. Now, the A zone is generally in a pretty vital area. But, you could also hit somebody in that neck and they still die in 20 seconds. And that would be shitty hits, according to shooting a USPSA match. You know what I mean? Just like when you think about like the stuff that the bullet's actually hitting in a gunfight, like what's behind that skin that it's hitting,
Right.
Is it hitting lung, or is it, hitting heart or something that's going to bleed a lot, like major blood vessels, or is it kind of going through kind of nothing except muscle and bone,
Yeah.
And some of those things are in the C zone and some of those things are not. Like the lungs would definitely be in the C zone. Actually, they're in the D zone too. And you can die real quick if you vaporize a lung. So I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just sort of playing devil's advocate that I think the scoring system used, like to rate a gunfight, I think is less relevant as far as what's right for LE training. I get where he's coming from, but I think it's time for I think it's okay to raise the bar of expectations. And he did also try to defer, I think, in the post about how like we could have a long conversation about, cops should be better at shooting, and that really is a whole separate topic. But like, whatever scoring system they have is fucking arbitrary. It doesn't, ultimately matter. It's like he's basically arguing for let's have a system so that we make sure we get everybody qualified.
Right. And if that's what we're doing, then just fucking check them off. Like, like who gives a fuck if we're like, okay, so I have issue with this because cops are the violent agent of the state. Like I know that sounds bad, but that's actually like a net positive. They are a quote unquote trained group that is established to handle the violence that needs to be done in the state. You don't want random people running around doing vigilante justice. It doesn't actually work. So it's remarkable that we trust these people at this super high level, but we also are like, hey, we can't make this too hard because most of them won't pass it.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's a horrible argument. If they can't pass it, then don't let them carry guns.
Yes, but they need them on the street doing everything else more than the shooty part.
So that's the key is so like in England, because they are in a more densely packed area, they actually have armed police that show up and do armed police shit when armed police shit needs to be done.
And the rest of them are carrying billy clubs.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And they beat the fuck out of people. The videos are hilarious. Or they get like the shields out and they just like bull rush into people. It's great. But going back to it is like, if it's like, hey, we need to keep the bar low enough for people to pass, then just don't have a bar.
Yeah.
Then just don't care.
Just make them do the training.
Well, or go old school. Like you read about like back in the 50s, you could just sign up and they'd be like, okay, here's your badge. Like hop in the car on Monday. Cool.
Yeah.
Like
that's kind of how it goes in smaller towns in South Dakota. I can say that. Like they're hired before they go to the academy.
Yeah.
And like they start going on patrol before they ever go to the academy. That happens a lot, especially on the reservations.
Yeah. And so that's part of it. And another part that he tried to make the argument for is like the logistics are too complicated. And one difference is talking about the training versus the qual is when they're trying to get, a lot of people through a qual very quickly, it's difficult to run individual timers. I would contend go find your local shooting range and rent it, or ask if they came to ENGC and were like, hey, we're going to run quals in your pistol bays. We'd be like, okay, cool. Can throw us a couple bucks. Like,
yeah,
done. And they could be running 5 different sets of people, or they could be running 15 different sets of people at a time.
The problem is they got to have a certified instructor running it. And
Right.
that's where the slowdown happens because they have to time one person at a time, and that's where the slowdown happens. Because that happens at my range a lot. The Lincoln County Sheriff's Office, they're in the same town that the range is, and they like their instructor guy does a lot of qualifications for a lot of surrounding departments. Like if he's going out to qualify, he kind of puts the word out, and then he'll be out there for like an afternoon, like qualifying officers of pretty much every department except the highway patrol out there. I wanted to mention this because my friend Robert, who is he works for the Minnehaha County Sheriff's Office in the jail. He does prisoner transport, so he carries a gun, and he has to qualify, and he's actually one of the trainers there, and he's a USPSA shooter, A-class carry optics shooter, I think A-class single stack too, back in the day. Yep. I asked him how he does on the state police qual when he goes at USPSA speed, because he'll kind of be the dick who's kind of showing off, and then somebody's like, "Who's going fast over there?" "Oh, it's you, smart ass." I said, when you go, like, it's a 50-point score, 50 total possible points in the South Dakota State Police qual. I asked how many. This was like a month ago. I asked him, what's your score when you go at USPSA speed? He said 48 out of 50. He'll drop 2 points in the whole fucking thing. Let me read you what the qualification is for law enforcement officers in the great state of South Dakota. Okay. First distance is 3 yards. It's one-handed shooting. 5 seconds to fire 3 rounds twice, and then 5 seconds to fire 4 rounds once. Okay.
Okay.
Then they go to the 5-yard line. All the rest is two-handed shooting. 5 yards. They get 5 seconds to shoot 3 rounds, 5 seconds to shoot 3 rounds, 3 seconds to shoot 2 rounds, and 3 seconds to shoot 2 rounds.
Is this from holster or load range?
From holster.
Okay.
Yep. Then they move to the 7-yard line. 3 rounds in 5 seconds, 3 rounds in 5 seconds, 2 rounds in 3 seconds. That's a lot of fucking time. Now, a lot of this time for them is getting eaten up on the draw.
Yep.
They're not good at drawing, and that's where
2 or 3 second draws.
If this was hit factor, like the time actually, it wasn't just like beat the par. I'd love to see what Robert's score is, or like what John's score is. He's a friend of ours who's also a cop and a USPSA master. Then we finally get out to 15 yards, 2 shots. You get 8 seconds 4 times. 8 seconds to hit. And this is a B-21 qualification target, like the dude with the hand on the hip.
Yeah, and
target.
It's any shot within the entire body, or is there like a square in the middle?
No, it's sort of it's a human-shaped target, and the scoring zones, like the center is 5, the outer edge of the torso, which would be a delta for us, even thinner than that, is 4. You hit an arm, you get 3 points.
Wow.
I mean, the center of it is pretty big.
Okay.
So, and like I'm guessing, I'm trying to think of how Robert would drop 2 points. He's probably getting into the shoulder in the 4 zone.
Well, one question I have
would be
is,
my guess.
That sounds like more. It's not 5 points per shot, because that would be a 10 point.
It's just 1 point per shot. Sorry.
Oh, one point
that's
per
the score.
shot.
That's the scoring zone. So
Gotcha.
Wait a minute. Did I misread what it is? Alibi shots or unfired shots or alibis are not allowed. Mechanical defects expected. Only shoot does it. Okay, so target scoring, course fire, scoring area. Oh, the scoring area is the bottle shaped. Okay, so it has to be within the bottle shaped area in the middle.
Okay.
Like basically the head down to the belly button.
Yeah, because for
that's the only thing that counts. Anything else it's either a 1 or a 0.
Yeah, so he lands 2 shots outside of the bottle.
Last updated in November 2013.
Yep, because I think it's like the FBI like qual target.
They have the Q target.
Yeah, Q target. That's the one I'm thinking of. Yeah,
I have some of those cardboard Q targets. They're kind of fun.
Yeah. So And what's failing for someone?
38 is the minimum qualification.
So 38 is the minimum.
So your first 3 distances are 7 yards or less. And that's that'd be 30 points.
Yeah.
So there's actually 6 distances, 3, 5, 7, 10, 15, 25. And there's only 6 rounds at 25 yards. So the vast majority, actually the first 3 distances, there's 28 rounds. And then out to 10 yards, it'd be 28, 36 rounds. So 36 of those are in 10 yards or less.
And so as long as you land 2 or 3 at 15, you're good. And then it's a crapshoot from there.
Yeah. And I mean, teaching, when I do my permit classes, I sort of loosely I didn't know any better when I started it. I started off with a qualification. I don't have a qualification anymore. I just do 100 rounds of live fire training as required. I don't pass, fail. If somebody scares me, I won't give them a certificate. But I sort of modified this qualification and just made it 10 rounds at 3 to 15 yards. And I made them shoot one-handed at 3 yards. And I still make them do that for the first 50 rounds, and then I make them shoot fast after that. And the number of people who didn't make 38 on the first try, and that was just anywhere. It was a looser version of that qualification, but it was you hit a USPSA target, it counts.
Right.
I didn't make it be the C zone. It was hey, if you hang it on the paper, it counts. And yeah, I don't know what the right answer is because it's people who are, it'd be like teaching cops how to be race car drivers so that they're good in high-speed pursuits.
Right.
It's the same rare occasion, but yet when you need it, you need it.
Right. And because I run into it again from the martial arts world side is I run a Muay Thai gym less than 200 yards from a police station, and I have 0 cops that come to me, and part of me understands because striking doesn't look good when cops do it. Regardless, no matter what, when someone sees a cop throwing punches, they're like, that dude's the bad guy. And you're like, that dude needed a punch in the face. There are certain times where dropping an elbow into a dude's nose is the proper thing to do. I have a higher bar than other people do, or a lower bar to when an elbow can be thrown. But so I kind of understand it until I watch a cop get the shit kicked out of him because he doesn't have striking skills, and I'm like, come on, dude, please. But like you said, having these skill sets for such rare occasions, there's some statistic that it's 75 or 80% of officers go their entire career never firing a shot at someone. They can go for 20 years and never fire a shot at someone, and so it's the amount of time invested getting them to be good can feel kind of wasted if that gun hasn't left the holster. And I mean, there was I think it was a New York cop that he had been cycling the same 2 rounds through his gun for 12 years or something like that because
they still worked.
No, no. That was why it became a story, because he finally got into a shooting. First round, click, nothing. Tap rack. Second round, click, nothing. Tap rack. Third shot actually worked because they had set back so much.
Oh my gosh! I think I mentioned I've had 2 of my carry gun rounds. They're critical Hornady defense, but they were the ones going in and out all the time, and they eventually pushed in, sunk into the case, and. Yeah, that tells me, okay, the ammo in that mag, I need to shoot it and get new. Hello?
Hello?
Oh, you are still there. You didn't say anything at all. You were not reacting at all, and I
was
it sounded quiet.
Talking to you about your carry ammo.
Oh, okay.
Because I've had the same carry ammo since 2020. So I don't know.
I bought a lot of it in 2020 because it was oh, look, there's 9mm.
Yeah, and Federal was selling those LE only 50 round boxes of HST, and they were actually especially for COVID, they were actually a decent price.
Oh yeah,
$30 for 50 or something. I'm like, yes, please, I will grab 4 of
There
these.
were 50 round boxes of 9mm 124 gold dots at Shields during COVID. And there was a shitload of them too, like a shitload, like a pallet. They had a pallet of it at the Shields in my town, and they had it forever, and it was like $50 a box. And they eventually were like, okay, we're not selling this. Like they finally lowered the price.
Capitalism set in, and they're like,
yeah,
oh, we lowered the price and we moved more. Shocking.
Yeah. Weird how that happens. But they're actually still on the. It's not. I don't think it's the same batch, but they still have 50-round boxes of Gold Dots on the shelf.
Oh, nice. Because I've only ever seen it in the HST blue. I forget exactly what they call it.
Doesn't matter. We know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Hey, let's move on to my primer flipping investigation.
Oh yeah.
After our Patreon episode dropped Friday, I got a text from my buddy Dan, and I didn't see the email until this morning when we're recording. Robert sent me an email. Hey, I've got a Dylan alignment tool I can loan you. And so I actually the morning I was planning on going to visit Dan and get that tool, I saw the email from Robert. Thank you, friends, for loaning me tools that I apparently need. I have it. I didn't get a chance to do it today, but there was that. And he was kind of going through the nuts and bolts of it. I'm not mechanically inclined. So I'm just like, oh, is that broke? I'll replace that part. Like how the part adjusts or goes in or whatever. And he was talking about how the primer punch, the little doohickey that actually shoves it up into your primer pocket, that apparently can be adjusted on the 650. So I need to make sure that is properly set. A guy commented on the post of the last episode about the primer magazine tube has a brass tip on it, apparently. Make sure that's clean and that the tip is not dicked up or anything.
So clean your tips.
Yep, clean your tip off when you're all done. What was the other thing? There was another one. I can't remember what it was, but I already bought one thing to help me fix this right before the show started. I had one of these and I broke it like a year ago. Rangepanda.com, the 650, 750 live primer catch box. It's fantastic. It's $11. It's great, except if you break it off, which is 3D printed, so that can happen. But I did something dumb, and I don't remember how I broke it, but I broke it. But I'm going to basically just cycle primers through the press to see, because the other part of it is, if the alignment is off, one thing I thought was maybe happening was that the case coming by was catching it, the primer, and flipping it.
Oh, interesting.
But also, it shouldn't be doing that because the primer's sitting too low. So I don't know. Like, the easiest thing to do would be to send it to Dylan, but like, that sounds awful. I don't want to tear that thing apart and put it in a box and spend a fucking $100 to ship that heavy ass thing to Arizona. No, thank you. I'd rather hide it in a carry-on.
You can see if you can give it to the Weitzel's when they go down there.
Yeah. Hey, can you bring this to Dylan for me, please? It only weighs 40 pounds or whatever it weighs. I don't think it's that heavy, but yeah. So anyway, I'm getting there. I need to get loading ammo because I'm like at the lessons I taught yesterday. Here's a weird thing. When I was, let me finish the thought before I switch thoughts. At the lesson, I'm on like my last 100 rounds of ammo that I have. Like the last box of ammo that I have loaded is what I was using yesterday. So, but a thing I want to mention real quick, I forgot about the lessons. All of my demos were perfect.
Hell yeah.
Like, perfect. Except my dot needs to be zeroed. It's off to the left. Because I called every shot, but they were in the wrong spot on the target. But like the exact pattern I called was there, doing like a 25-yard practical accuracy, but it was shifted left about 3 inches. Like, instead of hitting the middle of the A zone with the 2 good shots, they were like on the perf, on either side of the perf of this A zone and the C zone. So, but yeah, like, I don't know what it is. Like, when I'm actively shooting and training, I tend to kind of shit the bed on when I shoot demos, like for doubles or whatever. And they were all perfect. Like, I wasn't thinking about it. You know, it wasn't in front of a big group, but that doesn't matter. I screw them up in front of lessons all the time.
Right.
But it was just like, they were all perfect. I was like, you know, taking an off season, Steven, really can be helpful. Anyway. Okay. So there's that. You had in a thing here about Leo Nationals. What is?
Yeah.
Is this an idea?
Yeah.
Okay.
So me and a buddy were talking, and we were talking about nationals and how to make them cool and interesting. And one of the ideas was law enforcement nationals, but it's run as a team event.
Oh.
So every department can send their shooting team to Leo Nationals. And, you know, you get LAPD and New NYPD and Miami PD and Texas, whatever, like all these like top law enforcement agencies to like send, and they like, you have like one per division possibly. So that, you know, you have one LO, one CO, one open, one PCC, and they're competing for a team trophy that they can then like display and brag to the other departments about, ha, we are the top shooting team in the nation. And it could also be run as a 2-gun event. You could do a rifle pistol event as well. So
like, is this like suggestion like a USPSA thing?
Well, so
or more of an outlaw thing.
It would. So if it was done as a team event, it'd have to be more of an outlaw style. But like, it could be done as a USPSA event because I mean we have a Leo category, like well, and
technically there's like you can limit a match to a division, but you're not supposed to limit it to people,
right?
You know, that's a thing I think. You know, I think should be changed, like especially for like a Leo event. You know, why not allow it to be USPSA? There was a guy that actually emailed into the board. I thought it was a great idea to give like a once a year waiver on activity fees, like, you know, for matches for a charity match. Like if you have an annual charity match, like you guys had the zombie match for a long time. Did you do that this year too?
We didn't do it. We didn't do it this year. We just took the proceeds from all the events in October and made them the donation.
But like basically the idea was, okay, you get to pick one match a year where you get to waive that, and it has to be, and that's your charity match, and you have to give, you know, you get to skip that and give at least that much money to charity.
Yep.
I thought it was a great idea.
Yeah,
it
seems like it's something that you call out before it happens, and you know, like you said, if it's just the match fee that you're donating, so you know, it's whatever.
Oh, I think they should do more than just the match fee. Sorry, I was thinking activity fee. Yeah,
gotcha. Yeah, so it, but yeah, if they're as long as they're calling out beforehand, and you know, like you said, once a year, that's not unreasonable to be like, hey, we're doing, like my club does it for Toys for Tots. You could do it for Wounded Warriors or whatever, you know, your local humane society, whatever floats your local boat. But yeah, I think that'd be a great idea. Or like if our sport ever became popular, like what. A women's Nats could be kind of interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you still get that without
you do, but
by having the guys there, because it's just like they're carved out in their own category.
Right. I agree, but if that's one way that the LEO Nats making it a team-based event where like you somehow you take everyone's placement and give points based off placement, yada yada yada, that, and see how many, like, reach out to departments and see if there'd be any interest, because you know, maybe because if you only need, you know, 8 guys, or how, if we're doing it based off USPSA, you know, do we have 9 divisions? I always forget.
I thought it was 14. I don't know.
That's the
more on that later.
Right. So let's say the real divisions: open, CO, LO, PCC, throw in limited, and okay, so you need five to 8 guys to fill every one of the slots. Any department could compete. Like, it wouldn't
Honestly,
be that hard.
if I was doing it that way, I would it's like production CO, period.
Yeah.
For a Leo Nationals, why not? Why wouldn't you do it that way? I mean, I
Right,
get there's a lot of law enforcement like shooting teams that are like shooting open or to limited or even PCC, but
you could also make it required shot from duty gear. That could be another way to differentiate
see,
it. So that
I as long as they're using like that kind of gun, even if they're using a Shadow 2, it's still a double action gun. It's still cheating compared to a Glock, kind of, but
I'd almost say you have to use your
but now you're getting way outside of it. It would have to be outlaw at that point.
Okay.
If you're getting that far out.
I'm totally fine with that, because like the Olympics used to be, I believe it was the Olympics used to be,
Or
you had to compete with the gun of your nation's military. So it made it way more interesting.
The other thing you could do is just every division's open. Like it's just open. Use whatever gun you want. Don't care.
Right. You do like an optics and irons or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it'd be an interesting way to get more of a spotlight on the competition shooting world from the very element we were talking about earlier that could benefit from the.
But it'll be the nerds who are already shooting the sport and not the people who need to get better. That's the only.
Right.
That's the only. It's not a negative. It's just like it's not going to do as much as.
It won't get everybody, but I think it'll shine more of a light than there is now.
Yeah,
it is the idea, and it at a basic core level, it could force the instructors to be better. That like if
honestly, if instructors were just better, that would be huge.
Right, so
because they're not that great in most cases.
Yeah, so if someone like LAPD or NYPD or one of those very large departments like sends their team and they get their dick stomped in by OPD because they finally sat down and got some advice from all the competition shooters they shoot with, and they're like, oh, maybe we should like go talk to those guys. Like, like it could present new information to new audiences. Like, it could be, and it could just be fun. Like, bragging rights. I
like the fun part of it the most.
Yeah, it could just be a very large gathering for police to do things. Donate the funds to Fallen Officers Association or whatever, and it could just be this like a super interesting fun event.
Okay, some USPSA board shit. There was a meeting before Christmas, like a week and a half before Christmas. It was 4 hours and 45 minutes. It was the longest fucking night of my life. Fun fact, by the time this drops, he will no longer be on the board, but Leighton and I got into a shouting match in executive session. That was kind of funny. It was exec session, so I can't say. Oh wait, am I breaking confidentiality by saying we told each other to go fuck ourselves in executive session? I don't think so. So Limited Optics, as of January 1st of 2025, will be an official division. It's not getting changed to whatever weirdness, like CO staying CO, LO's being LO. Done. Video is allowed in to contest calls. So where it's allowed, the biggest thing is going to be DQs. Like, is that a DQ? Is it not a DQ? Video will be allowed during that. Hey, RO made this call. I disagree. Here's the video. Oh, you don't think you see it in the video? CRO. Here's the video. CRO says, I don't see it. Okay, I want to talk to the range master, show them the video. Like, in the same way you would contest a scoring call on a target, that's how you can use video. Okay? It can't be used on scoring calls. That's one thing I wouldn't mind changing if the video does actually show it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because on rare occasions, I actually I have video somewhere of me shooting a double. But it was a 1 yard powder burn target, and you can see it go bang, bang, and you can see on my GoPro camera the target hole like flutters. Like the flaps of the tears fluttered, and
Okay.
it went through the same hole. And dude, I was 1 yard away.
Yeah.
I was relatively new at the time, but I was 1 yard away. So it's not like it was a 15-yard target. So if it actually showed it, I would be good with it. And like the guy gave me 2 alpha because he's like, I watched him shoot it.
Yep.
Like I
I've done
saw
that
it.
before.
You know, like I have too. I had that happen once where it was a really close target. I literally saw the guy put 2 bullets through the same hole, and I'm like, no, I'm giving it to him. That's gonna be 2 alpha. I'm not even gonna overlay it. You know, that may not be the official way, but anyway. So here's the thing with the video though. Video cannot be used in arbitration to overturn a DQ.
Okay.
Because you could never contest a DQ call like a 180 call in arbitration anyway.
Right.
So there's that. And does that satisfy your curiosity on video?
Yeah. Well, because we chatted about it last episode.
Did we? Oh, we did. Shit. I'm repeating myself. Did we talk about L10 optics though?
No.
Okay, let's just jump into that. So optics are allowed in L10. Like it literally changed. Jim Boone asked me to write the motion for it, so I did. And I didn't really think about it at the time. I'll be honest. Like I didn't think about how or what type of optic. Is just changing that line item in the appendix from no to yes. It did not specify frame mounted or slide ride.
Oh.
And I guess that was Jake's intention when he proposed this, because then it allows optics on revolvers. The alien with an optic would be allowed. So if you want to shoot a frame mounted optic without a compensator, you can in L10. So I think it could be a really interesting division. It could be. I'm not, am I going to bet a paycheck it's going to be bigger than LO or CL? No, 100% not. But there will be people who will shoot major in it because major's still part of L10. So I am super excited to shoot my Tac Sport Orange with, I'll throw the 40 barrel back in it. Let's pour one out for Owen's 40 barrel from his Tac Sport Orange.
I'll drink to that.
Yep. And all I got to do is change extractors, mags, and barrel, and I got a 50 cal can full of 40 ammo. I'm pretty excited to shoot L10 with an optic in major. Like I haven't shot that gun with 40 in it yet with the optic on it. I guess this will test the durability of the 507 comp with 40 major ammo in it, but like it's like the one place it's kind of like single stack where that minor major is actually like a viable question.
Right.
You know, you don't get different capacity. That's the difference with single stack is it's 8 rounds major, 10 rounds minor. You get the same number of rounds either way.
Is Lim 10 still 10 round or did they switch 15 round?
No, it's 10.
Okay.
It's still limited 10. And it basically still exists for those states with the 10 round caps so that they have a division that they can have a fair classifier in. That's why, like, because some of the classifiers, they're stuck with only 10 rounds in their gun and have to reload. You know, like the one that was at the Nationals we shot, whatever that one's called, the 444 targets with the square. It's 2101 is the classifier number. I can't think of the name of it, but really fun classifier. But in in New York, they would have to reload after each array. Yep. Just like they were shooting production, even if they're shooting open. So L10 kind of gives them that where it's fair. But I know a lot of those folks like L10 for that reason. But like to me, this is sort of the last hurrah. If I was still on the board in 2 years and like still nobody's shooting L10, like I think it's gonna have a spike this year because of the rule change. But Mike Pannone had a post on Instagram today about shooting his miniguns, or micro guns, like shooting Glock 43Xs and 48s at matches, and some with iron, some with optics, mostly stock. And He's just having a fun experiment with it that he's just talking about on social media. And somebody mentioned to him, hey, you can shoot, run that in L10 now, because he's been shooting him in open.
Yep.
And he's like, what? And then I typed in a little clarification that, yeah, effective January 1st, you can, L10 allows optics and they can be frame or slide ride mounted. And then he responded back to it like right away, and I didn't see it until like right before the show started, so I don't even remember what he asked or what I replied. But yeah, so I think it could be interesting. Am I gonna bet my next paycheck that it's gonna be the new hotness? Absolutely not.
Right.
Do I think it will overtake LO and CL? Absolutely not. I would bet it will not overtake them. I think it could overtake single stack. I think it could overtake production. Inactivity.
Yeah. Anything with an optic at this point.
Anything with an optic, or even just like the little guns. Because the only thing that's not allowed in L10 is more than 10 rounds in the mag. You can still have your big long mag. You just can't put more than 10 rounds in it.
Yep.
And a compensator. That's it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's an open gun. But for it, you have to shoot at least 40 for major. No 9 major. So.
Ugh. Ew.
I know. Yeah. Brother, ugh.
Ugh.
Like, open is so unappealing to me.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that to shit on the people who love open. I just am not interested.
I want to. I bought an open gun. I want to run an open gun hard. I don't want to do the maintenance and the finicking and like the prayers to the machine gods before every stage. Like sacrifice like a field mouse and be like just put the blood on it and be like, all right, please work. Because I had an open gun. I could never get it to run. I sold it to the guy. He's posted videos of it running. So like I'm mechanically retarded. I accept that fact. I will not. It's not going to change. So I stick to my CO guns that just work.
Yeah. All right. We have some stuff from Reddit now. Iowa section. Big news in the Iowa section. We mentioned Great Plains section goes on sale today. Iowa section. There's news. Jeff, what's the news?
They're actually going to be having it.
Well,
because there was a conversation that it just wasn't going to take place because Scott wasn't going to do it.
Yeah, and it wasn't like I'm taking my ball and going home. He's done it for like the last 10 or 12 years. Him and Andrew have, and like they're ready for a break.
Yeah, which is completely reasonable,
completely understandable.
And it here's again we've talked about this before, to avoid burnout. Pass the load every once in a while. Like it's okay. It's okay to let others take over. Let's see, because the Wisconsin guy reached out to me. I don't know that this guy's reached out to me yet. But
by the way, the new Iowa section coordinator is Ethan Settle. So he's taken over as the section coordinator, and he's going to be taking over the match too. I do believe.
Perfect.
I believe that's who this is. That was like nobody has the real names on there, so I'm assuming that's him. On our Reddit. But anyway, do you have that handy? I can't see it.
Yes. Village Idiot 117.
Yes,
it was who posted about it. And he's doing what I think is a good idea. Is he's reaching out to the stakeholders and being like, "Hey guys, I'm taking this over. What did you like? What don't you like? How can I continue making a good match?" And a lot of people were wanted to point out that they're like, hey, it's been a great match. Don't try to make it your own thing. Like first thing, make it your own thing.
Yeah. Definitely.
One thing that personally, I think the strong hand weekend gets a little overdone at that match. The strong hand weekend.
I think it's only overdone if they do 2 stages of it.
Right, which they did last year. In my first stage was strong hand weekend in first shots of the day, with 2 crouching ports that you had to go to twice.
By the way, when I beat you and Steven in 2023 at the Iowa section, my first stage was stage 11, the one with the hardcover. And I think I got 3rd on that stage.
Yeah,
let me brush that off my shoulder real quick.
Of course, you gotta get those small victories out somehow. So
I always like I mean, my favorite thing about the Iowa section match is I always beat Steven. I've never lost to Steven at that match.
He does tend to shit the bed at majors and then stomp absolute dick at locals. It's the most annoying
God, he
thing.
stomped my dick at every match I've shot against him at lately. That's for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, because what's an off season. But my big thing, I do enjoy the Iowa section. There are certain things that do drive me nuts about it.
What?
Don't try.
The only thing that drives me nuts about Iowa section is the pond. That fucking pond in front of like the second or third bay.
Yeah.
Like you have to walk an extra 200 yards around this pond to get to that range.
Hey,
I hate that pond. That pond is stupid.
Nolan and Jay fish that pond every match.
I want to pour cyanide in that pond and dry it up. Like, let me just walk to the bay. I don't want to walk around a pond to get to a bay.
Well, that's one of my big complaints is that lunch, while it's wonderful, I love having lunch inside an air-conditioned building. That's awesome. It's great. It sucks when you're on Bay 5 and you have to walk all the way there, eat, walk all the way back. That's annoying.
Yeah, because they always serve a lunch out of the clubhouse.
Yep. And their clubhouse is not centrally located. One thing let's see if I can phrase this in a nice way. Don't try to beat up your shooters. Sometimes the stages at Iowa section can get a little over the top. So 25-yard partial swingers times 2, that can be frustrating. 40-yard mini poppers, that I watched a dude go through 3 magazines on a 50-yard mini, and because it was a major, no one wanted to go move on. So figuring out a good way to balance the challenge.
At some level, if you don't think you can hit a 50-yard mini, throw one round at it, move on.
Correct. And that's, again, one of the failures of our sport is that everyone can sign up for a level 2 as long as you have a USPSA membership. Because I've had a PCC not pointed at me, but I had a dude go completely muzzle up and then turn around
at a section match.
Yeah. It was a Bighorn Classic. So it was the level 2 at Cameo where,
okay.
And I found out later it was the dude's first match. Like he had bought his membership like the night he signed up for the match.
Oh, wow.
Like, yeah. And so,
that's kind of rare. That doesn't happen a lot.
It doesn't happen a lot, but sometimes you do see like new shooters that you're like, this was not a good idea for this to be your first
When
match.
Great Plains was not a USPSA match last year, we had a lot of first time or very new shooters at their first level 2. And like one of the guys, and most of them were locals to Sioux Falls, but the one dude goes, wow, I mean, this is a really cool event. The shooting's harder than I thought it would be. And I'm like, really? He's like, well, just like some of it. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, well, there's always close targets on every stage, but there's like a target or two that are just like shit. And I was like, oh, okay. So like, like if this is your first time shooting a level 2, like, yeah, that's kind of how they, like that way of looking at it. It didn't really register with me,
because our brains have warped to the point of you're like, oh, 20-yard partial,
I talked to him,
that's fine.
I talked to him shortly after the double drop turner stage.
Ooh, yeah.
And that kind of was even though those drop turners were super slow and we should have lubricated them, they were way slower than they were the summer before. But they were 3 per drop turners, and they were like a total, like he was so mentally freaked out by them. And then it turned out, and then when I started shooting them, it wasn't as hard as I thought,
Yep.
but the popper to activate it was the thing I couldn't hit, which was, just kind of interesting. Anyway, there were a lot of comments on the, on that post. Let's see. There was one comment I saw that was really, 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 really interesting. I thought. I can't remember where it is. Of course, now I'm not finding it. This is what happens when I don't copy paste. But yeah, I mean, it's your first. If it's your first time as a major match director, like lean on the people who know what they're doing. And he mentioned like he's got Scott as a resource, so like yeah, definitely use that. I talked to people that had run matches before I did it, and it was really helpful. Just like as far as like the logistics of it, just think about everything that needs to be done. And I'm guessing they probably already have given them a list. Like, here's all the stuff you kind of have to do. You know, you got to plan the lunch. You got to plan, you know, the staff and targets and stages and, you know, that whole thing. But like Jeff said earlier, just do it the way you want to do it. When it comes to the stages, don't seek out a whole bunch of other people's opinions. Just whether they're your stages you design or I highly recommend farming that out to other people as well. But you're the one who's picking them. Like, pick that set of 10 or 11, whatever, however many stages you're doing. And, like, make sure they're not samey. That's the number one thing when it comes to stage selection. Because there was a year at Cornhusker where it was like, wow, out of these 10 stages, like 7 of them are kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
Like 2 or 3 years ago. Just, you know, now does that mean you have to like have a checklist of we want at least one strong hand weak hand, we want 3 stages with movers, we want a prone stage. Nobody wants a prone stage, by the way.
Correct.
You know, like you can do the checklist thing if you want to, or you can just like, are these stages fun and challenging?
Right.
Like you know, you do want to make sure you don't make all of them unloaded starts. That people will get cranky about that if you have 5 unloaded starts.
And they won't let you forget about it for a couple
No,
years.
never. But I deserve it.
Also,
even though I give Scott like 20% of the blame.
Correct. Also, don't get super prop heavy. Last year there was one where you had to activate it by pulling these cords, and because you can't manipulate a stage before it's shot, none of us had any idea how hard you had to pull. So like I think it was Owen didn't pull
because
it
wasn't just a window, it was activating a target.
I believe, yeah, I think it
because usually if it's just opening a window, you get to do that.
I think it like activated the swingers.
Oh yeah, that typically is not, because like when we had the quad pulley window at Great Plains 2 years ago.
Yep.
Which I loved. I thought that was really cool because you had to like pull it way out to open it. It wasn't just yank it and it was open. Like we couldn't not let people do that.
Right.
Like they have to have an idea of what it's like because it's so different than any other pull cord on a window that anybody had ever had before.
Yeah. Well, this one we weren't allowed to manipulate it, and so I want to say it was Owen. Like he gave it a solid yank, but it just wasn't enough to get it activated, so we had to go back and do it again. So when I did it, I yanked it so hard that I actually kind of shifted the wall a little bit, and I was like, "Oh, please tell me I broke this stage. That would be fantastic." Because like we didn't have any pre-knowledge of what to do. I enjoy Iowa matches. There are certain things they do sometimes that piss me off. The door stages never seem to work well. I'm going to throw that one out for you. They like,
God damn, you're picky.
Yes, 100%.
I don't recall that.
Because you weren't there.
I was only not there last year.
Yeah, but so I cut myself on that door, so that was annoying. But
get a Band-Aid and a tampon for you.
So 3 years ago, 4 years, I don't know. I shot it with Ben one year, and they ended up throwing that stage out because the RO wasn't getting close enough to the shooter, and the way the door opened, he wasn't actually picking up the shots. So the door prop can.
Oh, I do remember a stage getting tossed one year.
Yeah,
and I had a really good score on it, and I was kind of pissed.
Yep. Yeah,
and I remember the name of the stage. That was the year all the stages were named after Metallica songs, and it was Master of Puppets.
Ah, nice.
Was the one that got booted.
And the only one I'll say, you guys I think tore down the wall, but there's one that you activated the different windows by shoving like a sword through these holes.
I thought that was Area 3.
They may have done it at Area 3.
Oh no, that was a rifle, a prop like dummy rifle.
Oh yeah. So because this was at the IDPA cleanup match, and I had to DQ a guy, and like I actually let him DQ like sweep himself like 2 or 3 times because it was his first match, and I was like, oh man, I don't want to fucking DQ from your first match. So like the first one, I'm like, okay, you got your mulligan, and then he did it again. I'm like, god damn it, dude. I was like, okay, stop. And he's like, what? And I'm like, dude, you have pointed the gun at your hand like 4 times, like because he was trying to stick this sword into the wall while holding the gun in his other hand, and he was missing the hole, and so the gun was fucking pointed at his hand.
Yeah. Just, first time match director, I feel your pain and anxiety. Just do it. You're gonna fuck stuff up. You'll fix it next time. Like that's, you'll learn. Like you won't make it. I got really lucky my first match. Jeff always says the first Great Plains at Canton was like one of his favorite matches.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
And I got lucky. I got lucky. The stages all timed out perfectly. It didn't sell out, so that helped. The squads weren't super full. It sold out the next 2 years though, and then I started screwing up. And then I started doing things wrong. But including don't delete your registration the morning of the match. That's a bad thing. Don't do that for sure. I did that in 2022. We had a sign up for helping stage building, and I just did it in squads for the various days and stages. I thought it was really smart. Well, the morning of the match, I was tired of that showing up first and not the match registration on the club page on Practice Score. So I'm like, well, I'm going to delete that and get it out of here. Are you sure you want to delete this? Yes, I'm sure. Registration gone. Now, luckily, I didn't have to kill myself because I had already sucked the match down to my phone. So I had the registration on my phone. It was just gone from the Practice Score website. And the scoring and registration are 2 completely independent things on Practice Score. You notice how scores don't show up until after you upload them? That's why. Even though they show up on the same website, they're 2 separate systems. They don't talk to each other. The interface is at the match and the tablets.
Interesting.
Yeah. So like I emailed and I was like, hey, is there any way of getting it back? They're like, no, if you hit delete and are you sure? Yes, it's gone. I'm like, fuck. Okay. But I haven't done it since. So, all right. What else do we have here? Oh, ROs on the 180. That was a video I shared on our Reddit from it was on competition shooting, and then shared to USPSA on Reddit, and then I shared it to our Reddit. It was interesting. Now, it's perfectly legal, and everything was perfectly safe. Right, Jeff?
I mean, yeah. I'm actually
the 180 wasn't broken.
Yeah, not that
as far as we can tell.
Yeah. So I actually fall on the other side of this topic because for this one, yeah, it's annoying to have someone in your eye line when you're pointing a gun, I guess. I get very laser focused into the target I'm shooting, but like this guy, we're going based off his hat cam, which can give kind of a warped perception.
You can see the back berm though. Like he's starting sort of downrange and it's a U-shaped shooting area. And as he works his way back, that's where you see this one area. This is from, I think, Handgun Nats.
Yeah, it's Handguns and Nats. The guy on Instagram is Slam Pat. He's a 4-time GM, yada yada yada. So like it is a bit it's spicy how close this guy is to the 180, but there's a part of me that's like, yeah, I've also stood fairly close to the 180 if it's someone that I like trust. And
you're talking about the RO?
Yeah.
That RO is way too fucking close to the line. No. Like, I mean, I get how people show up in hat cam videos all the time.
Because I have a hat cam where I got yelled at by
but
my comment
dude
section
is
for
like
that.
the dude is standing like in line with the back fault line, and the target is like 2 yards north of him. Like, I'm not standing that fucking close ever. Not a chance. Like, no. there's not a good reason for it.
Yeah, I will agree. There's not a good reason for him to be there. I guess it's one of those things that people are so there's two sides to it. One, yes, it's not the smartest position to stand, but technically, like, he is beyond the 180. So like,
Well, yeah, my sarcasm says, "Oh, the 180 is a force field. Yeah, this is fine."
Right. But like, okay, it's like he calls the 180. Like, if he's standing, 10 feet back and still get the gun pointed at him, he's still got a gun pointed at him. And so I don't know. Because I've had it happen where an RO pops up in my sight before, and it's fucking weird. But it was at Area 3, and what it was is, so you shot the back position, then you ran forward to shoot the left side, and when you came around the right side, the RO had already started scoring the back targets, and the walls were see-through because there was that green mesh or whatever. And so like I was looking at him while I was doing a reload, and I was like, that's fucking weird. But I don't know. I think the comment section, my first reaction to it is, okay, if you guys don't like this guy, then replace him. Who's stepping up and taking his spot? Because
Oh yeah, no, I don't. I when it comes to, like, as far as the, I never really. When it came to this post, I didn't really read the. I'll be honest, I didn't read the description going into it. It was just, I read the headline, questionable RO position. Then I watched the video. I'm like, yeah, that's questionable. All right. Like, that's, if he's up there because he's trying to catch the 180, that's dumb, because
Right.
he can be back at 200 and know for sure when the 180's broke, instead of riding the, well, I'm going to catch him if he gets to 182. Like, that's
Right.
stupid. Okay. Now, part of the problem is, like, as you were talking, I was reading the post, and the guy who posted it originally on Competition Shooting said, I've shot this for a decade, multiple nationals, 4-time GM, and for some reason this nationals was ripe with FUD ROs. This whole day was full of nonsense, from stuff like this video to refusing an overlay because the RM's just going to tell you no. Like, if somebody asks for an overlay, just do it. It takes 7 seconds. It's not a
Right.
big deal.
And as a shooter, just stand there. Be like, don't pace this target. I asked for an overlay. Under the rule set, I can ask for it. I'm going to get it. Fucking stand up for yourself. I have no problem with that.
The combativeness, this adversarial attitude from ROs has got to fucking stop. It's got to stop. I don't run into it around here, at the majors around here. The only time I ever ran into it was at a Outlaw 3-gun match. But I know it happens, and I've seen it happen. It's never happened to me, but Area 3 a number of years ago, I saw some weirdness. But it's, ROs need to be, they need to have their customer service hat on when they're working a match. They're not there to fucking get you. Like, when we post the sign up for staff for Area 3, which will be very soon here, I've gotten lots of people asking to work Area 3, which is awesome. Thank you. I'm going to be real picky on the CROs. Like, really fucking picky. And we will not have an adversarial notch the timer RO. Or CRO for sure. The CRO will be there to make sure the ROs are, not being dicks either. But like when I was on Joel's podcast a couple weeks ago, I said, like, the attitude among the ROs should be like Patrick Swayze in Roadhouse. Be nice. Be nice. Until it's time to not be nice. But, like, that fuse better be really long. Okay? Just do everything you can to make sure, give them the score they deserve. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying give them a score they don't deserve. But if they ask for an overlay, sure. Here you go. Sorry, I don't see it.
Right. And
if you're nice about it, they usually just walk away.
Well, and like, another way to look at it is like, you don't even need to be nice. You just need to be like matter of fact. Just be like, hey, yeah, this is Alpha Charlie. Like, that's 2 Alpha. You're like, I'm calling it Alpha Charlie. Do you want me to overlay it? Yes. Cool. Done. I'm still calling. Like,
here's if I just will overlay it. I won't even make them ask me. You know,
right.
I mean, sometimes they'll ask, but one of the Williams sisters asked for an overlay at Area 3 when I was working a couple years ago, and it wasn't there. Like, I'm sorry, I don't see it. And she just she was really irritated by it, but she just turned around and walked away. You know, she didn't ask to pull the target. She didn't throw a hissy fit. She just was unhappy and walked away. But I didn't get the vibe she was unhappy with me, you know? And like, I'm just here to give you the score you deserve. And I have found, like, by being friendly, like I'm selling something to them, like I'm like treating it like customer service. Boy, dudes are real chill when a call goes weird. You know, you're not going to end up in a fucking argument over it. Like,
I've seen the darker side of it. Like, I've seen people bully ROs and it get like,
well, I'm not
heated.
saying allow yourself to be bullied. That's not what I'm saying.
Right. And one other piece to it for ROs is like, always escalate to a higher authority.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit and argue with them. I'm just going to call the range master. I'm not fucking around with this. I want the next shooter out here. If we need to pull the target, we're going to pull the target. I'm not fucking around with this.
Right. And
the
so
match must go on.
Right. And so if they're like, hey, that's a questionable call, I'll be like, okay, go get another party. Leave me out of this. If you think I'm not making the call correctly, get the next person.
Well,
like,
that's your job to call the next person, but
well, they have to ask. Yeah, whatever. But
you were making it sound like they have to go run and find the range master, you know, themselves.
No, I'll call the range master or the CRO on this. If I'm the RO, I'll call the CRO and they can fucking handle it. Like I know I have a short fuse, and technically I actually have a long fuse until it's gone, and then I'm
the match is lit.
Yes, and so like I tend to just be like, yeah, I think it's this. Yeah, I think it's this. Like da da da. And I've had like 2 overlay calls, and one time I was like, all right, cool, and I'm like, oh shit, I was wrong. Okay, my bad. And like at a local match or even at a match, I'm like, hey, I'm not 100% sure on this one. Someone who else is RO, get over here. Okay, cool. What are you calling this?
Yeah.
Okay, we agree. Or if we disagree, third person. Cool. We have a 3-person to say this one says this. Cool. We have an answer. But it's when they try to do shitty stuff. Like, that's a double. No, it's not. I fucking hate you.
When it comes to that's a double on that swinging target at 15 yards. Okay, that's when it's going to start to piss me off. If they want to pull the target on a swinger at 15 yards, that's when Patrick Swayze says it's time to not be nice.
Yep.
Like, I'm done being courteous now. I'm like, I mean, I'm going to call the range master, and I'm going to stand there, and I'm going to hold up the whole fucking squad for this asshole.
Yep.
And sorry, we have to because I'm not pulling a target off a swinger, because that's a pain in the ass.
Right.
So we're going to get the range master to come over here and deal with this.
Right. And so going back to the original conversation around at RO standing too close to the 180s, it does happen. I've seen people in my firing line. The Super Squad at Cornhusker one year had the match director in their fire line because he was trying to take pictures.
Oh God.
And he was on 198, and even Lane, who has done shit in desert-like areas, was like, it's kind of unnerving to have someone down your shooting line. So yeah, it like one person mentioned, have cones, just put cones down. Like, match director, put cones down and be like,
yeah,
no one passed these cones.
Did you know IDPA has a cone rule where, like, if you're far enough down range, they can set cones and you can break 180 to the cone?
Really? So it's like a shifting
like
180?
No. It's just once you are down range of the cones, you're allowed to go past it as long as you don't muzzle anybody. But that's like, say it's a 20 or 50 yard bay and you're way the hell down range, they can set cones wherever. I think I'm getting this right. I've just heard about it on another podcast once upon a time, but yeah, there's certain areas where it's like, yeah, okay, if you're past it here, then it's okay. I don't think it's necessary. It was just a thing I thought of out of nowhere. But anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. Did we hit it all? What else? Oh,
Yeah, that's the thing.
embrace the off season because the flu sucks. That's the last thing.
Yeah, I realized I haven't touched a gun this week because I went to my dad's for Christmas, and even though he lives in the country, there's not really much. He doesn't really do any gun shit. So I sat and watched a Harry Potter marathon, and I got home. I'm like, immediately caught the flu. Like, landed at 11 p.m., woke up at 2 a.m. I'm like, this is bullshit.
You need to eat more onions. That's what my wife would say.
Eat more onions?
Yeah.
Is that a Scandinavian thing?
No, it's like a healthy eating thing. Like, there's all kinds of good stuff in food. Like, she had breast cancer like 8 years ago, and so she found this book called like the Beat Cancer Kitchen or something like that. And but here's the weird thing though. Like, she's had me on an onion kick lately, and like traditionally my nose is plugged all winter.
Yep.
My nose hasn't been plugged in a week and a half. So, like,
eat more onions.
She's got me on board with it. Is that actually it? I don't know, but I'm gonna keep, like, as Crash Davis said in Bull Durham, don't fuck with a streak. So that sucks. So you're feeling better today, though, I take it?
In general, I'm feeling better. It's been an annoying, like, I'm feeling better for 6 hours. My stomach's like,
yeah,
get fucked. And then like I'll go like 6 hours. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna make plans. Like, I'm gonna go out tonight. And then like the hour before I'm about to leave, my stomach's like, haha, you're not leaving the bathroom, you motherfucker. And I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah.
So hopefully, and I saw Steven training, asshole.
He needs an off season really bad.
I worry about him.
Mm-hmm. He's gonna like rage quit.
That's what I worry about. He's
Yeah.
making a friend and he's gonna rage quit.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for listening, folks. Patreon.com/NotAnotherShootingShow. If you join that for just $3.57 a month, it's about the same as a venti fucking Starbucks black coffee. Same thing. And that's all it is a month. But some people refuse to pay for things on the internet. That's fine. Patreon.com/NotAnotherShootingShow. Get a second episode every single week. He is Jeff King. I'm Andy Erickson. This is Not Another Shooting Show.